right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so for landing pages, regardless of the type of ad campaign you're running, and this also applies to Facebook ads as well. If your landing page isn't best optimized for getting that conversion, whether it's getting them to sign up for your email list or you're giving them a free consultation, just very important that landing page is well optimized so that you're getting the best value for those clicks and for the amount spent. So for today, just kind of a high-level roadmap, overview of ad landing pages. I'm assuming that you're somewhat familiar with landing pages, but kind of just go over some specific points. From there, we're going to move over to kind of discussing some of the best practices for improving that landing page experience. And then towards the end of the session, we'll go over some different tools you can use to optimize your landing pages.
Okay.
So for the first, just an overview, landing page, just to be clear, is a specific dedicated page on your site that you intend to use for AdWords, Bing ads, or any other advertising platform. And so what that means is usually you're going to have a different template that you're using. So let's say if your product pages look a certain way, but you're actually wanting a landing page, you usually want to take out the top navigation menu to where the focus is only on what's being presented on that page.
Okay.
Now, sometimes this varies depending on where that prospect is in the buying stage or the buyer's journey. But typically, you don't want to give them the opportunity to explore your website because, again, that's going to divert their focus. But really, what you're looking for is for them to complete that conversion. So focus is kind of here in the formula. Also, of course, relevance, and that is directly dependent on the ads that they are clicking before they land on your page. But as we discussed, as I understand, there are three groups that you would be targeting. Folks who are looking to be more successful in the dating market, people who might have undergone a dramatic weight loss, and people who are looking for a professional opportunity or even a career change. Okay. So I would suggest at a minimum you have 3 separate landing pages for each of those target demographics. And okay. Of course, the copy that you include on the dating landing page will be very different than what you include on the career switcher landing page. And then finally, simplicity. And simplicity, that's something, or really all of this is subjective, but simplicity, really the idea here is you want to get straight to the point. Whereas with SEO, you're kind of building out content to optimize it for Google. But with a PPC landing page, you're not optimizing for Google. In fact, I suggest that you don't even have your landing pages indexed. But instead, you're paying for that click. You want to get straight to the point. So kind of think of it as kind of an online version of a elevator pitch of why they should choose you and what you have to offer.
Okay.
And that kind of goes into this next slide here, where sometimes I get pushback from clients is that, okay, I have a very nice looking website. Why do I need to build landing pages on top of it? Yeah. And really, the website is for organic. It's for your business, your services to get more visibility and with SEO. And so the difference here is that Google, for SEO, for organic traffic, Google selects which pages it's going to serve, and that it picks those pages based on which are going to best serve the user intent, the searcher's intent. Whereas paid, you get to choose where to direct visitors. And you actually see this issue all the time where if someone is focusing on their SEO, there may be a page that is ranking high for a particular search query, but is actually not the best page to match that search query. With paid, you don't have that issue. You can direct traffic exactly to where you want them to go. Any questions there?
Nope, that makes sense.
Okay. And then just some other reasons why you don't want to use your website pages for your landing pages. Commonly what I see is, someone will have a very good ad campaign, but they're sending traffic to their product pages or to their home page, which again, it's typically not going to align with the copy in your ads, and it's not going to align with the messaging and the call to action.
Okay.
Just overall, you'll notice that if you're getting a 3% conversion rate on your website, that's really acceptable. Of course, the higher the better, but typically not until that conversion rate dips below 1% do you really have to be concerned.
Okay.
Whereas with a PPC campaign and you're directing traffic to a landing page, the standards are much higher because you are paying for those clicks. So I would say what you're really targeting for a PPC campaign is a 10% conversion rate will be a good starting point.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why, again, landing pages, making sure that they're well optimized is very important for success with a paid campaign.
Okay.
And then I kind of hit it on this on the first bullet point, but you want to make sure it's dedicated and relevant, and it reinforces the promise and validates, gives them, kind of confirms the reason why they clicked your ad. So if your ad is promoting image consulting, fashion consulting for career changers, then that's exactly what you should be delivering to them on that landing page.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to show you an example. Let's see. So this is just an example. So on the left-hand side, you can see the ad. So free yourself with a new wireless headset. So the website homepage, it's a very good-looking website, but you can see at the very top here, they're talking about laptops, desktops, and printers. So already, if you're the user, you're kind of lost because you click this ad for a wireless headset. Now you have to kind of go and find what you're looking for. So that's why the homepage would not be a good option. Whereas with the landing page here on the further right, you can see a picture of a headset right there in the hero area, and you can also see that the copy is kind of hard to see, but it says free yourself with a new wireless headset, and then it actually has other pictures of headsets. So very targeted, very relevant to the ad. So this one will typically win all, hands down, just because it's more relevant. Okay. Now, some other specific benefits of using landing pages for AdWords, it does improve your AdWords quality score because whatever keywords that you're targeting, whatever copy that you're using in the ad, you can pretty much use that same copy and those same keywords on your landing page. And in fact, that's the best practice. And let's say, if you're using certain keywords, make sure that you include them somewhere in your landing page copy.
Okay.
Now, if you remember, when we improve the quality score on our ads, we actually can lower the cost per click because the ads are of higher quality, and lower cost per click, because assuming that you're optimized for conversions, is going to lower your cost per acquisition. So yeah, it's really important that you get this part right because you have the best technically optimized AdWords campaign, but if they get to the landing page and it's crap, well, you're kind of just going to be wasting money. And then you want to have a focused copy and call to action that aligns with the problem and angle that you're advertising you can solve. So again, going back to the career changer example, try to have a call to action that's custom and personalized for them. Even sometimes, I know we talked a bit about this, is that if you want to have a ads campaign that's focused on a specific market or specific location, and this is probably very relevant for franchise owners for Alpha Graphics, include some copy on the page about that city or that town, and
Okay.
maybe something for the dating angle. Set I don't know what's something creative, like set the stage on fire, or set the night scene on fire with your new look in Orlando.
Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something you can use, and then it's obviously that page is meant for them. So just adding those little different features can really help.
Okay.
Now moving on to some best practices, and in this section, we're going to just pretty much go over everything related to creatives, prominent text, so like headings and subheadings, copy, calls to action, and including trust symbols.
Okay.
So using creative. So, and this, includes images and video. So there was some research done by Bounce, I believe, that said that humans respond to and process visual data better than any other type of data. In fact, 60 times faster than any other type of data. So this is kind of a signal that if someone lands on a landing page, you can really communicate with them faster and more efficiently with that visual creative. So that's images, video, or what have you. So it's best practice to include a relevant image or video in the hero area above the fold, just so that it's something that's going to catch their attention right away. And you need to consider your prospects' motivations, desires, and needs. So, there's, this is something that definitely requires more thought, but we're looking at the career switchers landing page. Maybe you show a picture or like some type of video where it's somebody's, man or woman at a job interview, and they just found out they got the new job. That's definitely the outcome you want to achieve for your customers, your clients who are looking to you for that benefit. So just kind of think about what is that outcome that they're trying to achieve, and try to represent that either do an image or do a video.
Okay.
And so just some other tips here. I'm sure some of these might seem obvious, but never use stock photos. I mean, it's better just to take your iPhone or whatever mobile phone you use and just take photos yourself. The stock photos, they definitely, obviously they're easy to obtain, but it definitely isn't as personable as your own unique photos. If possible, would you say that your customers, your clients, are they usually open to being included like in like a video or image?
So actually lately that's something I've been asking a lot more of. Is like if I can share some of their stuff, and they've actually been okay with it, surprisingly. Like I just dressed a guy for his wedding, and he shared with me his whole wedding album, the video. He's like, do what you want with it.
Nice.
I was like,
nice.
Okay. So yeah, I think some are actually okay with it, especially doing like a before and after.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the type of stuff you want to include on your landing page. Yeah, I know some industries, people aren't really as open. Like I see this a lot, like in health, like doctors and psychiatrists, also with lawyers, where, yeah, I went to this criminal law attorney to help me with this case. They don't want their name posted everywhere, with
Right.
a review. So yeah, so that's good that your customers are receptive to it. Okay. You want to make sure that your text is easy to read. So, kind of be mindful of the color of your text and the background that you're putting it on. So you don't want your background image to be too busy that makes it difficult to read the text.
Okay.
And if that is the case, you don't have any other options, then try to use an overlay so that text is more readable. And then you want to understand color psychology. So the different emotions that colors evoke. And, I guess, if you're looking at, let's just say someone who is looking to improve their wardrobe, to have better success with their dating, kind of what mood do you want them to be in once they land on the landing page?
Say that one more time, sorry.
So let's say we have an ad campaign and we're targeting people looking to improve their wardrobe for better success with dating. What type of mood do you want them to be in once they land on your landing page?
Like a successful mood, like it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so I'm not going to go into detail here with the session, but I came across a really good article. It's very interesting where it kind of talks about the psychology of different colors and how different colors, even from country to country, can vary. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, cool.
But of course, you want to make sure that whatever color that you're using is consistent with your branding. So make sure that it's all kind of fits in with your brand profile.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to share a few examples, some good use of creative. So this first example, this is a hot jar or heat map on top of the image. But you can see here on the left here, they have a baby. It's for diapers, I believe, some type of diaper product. And for the first version, they have the baby looking directly, into the camera.
Okay.
And so in the second version, they actually have the baby looking at the text that's on the page. And so, from what I read, they actually went with this version because they wanted to divert the attention to the text here. So you can see this little red spot. That means that more people are looking at the baby instead of what they should be reading over here. Right. But really, you kind of want to guide them to reading whatever copy you have. So you can use images like that even with people to kind of better direct users to what you want them to read and how you want them to flow through the landing page.
Okay.
So I'll ask you, kind of thinking along the lines of creative, what's something that kind of catches your attention here?
This one, that it's super simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing really distracting. You see the pill, you see a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of to the point.
Okay. What about, so the advertiser, what do they want the person to do once they get to this section?
Get started. And so like same kind of directional theory, the finger's pointing right at get started. So it kind of draws your eye there. And like the leaf is kind of pointing at it. And so are the
Yeah, I didn't notice the leaf, but yeah, it is kind of pointing like diagonally. So good catch. But yeah, you're right. Like the different elements here, they're all kind of solely drawing attention to that call to action button. And then the last example here, they really don't have like anything directional, but you can kind of see the bottles of vitamins are kind of all surrounding the text and the call to action. And the call to action button, it definitely stands out because it's blue on a yellow background. You're about to say something?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this is interesting too. They have here kind of the pill spill, but it kind of leads you to the call to action. So that's mostly imagery, but I actually prefer video, and video I think is preferable because you'll find that sometimes they'll come to your landing page, they love what you have to say, but you might get on a call with them and it could be a very superficial reason. They don't like your personality, they don't like your accent, but they may choose not to work with you. And the benefit of video is that you can put all of that out there before they even contact you and waste your time. So video is a great way to showcase your personality and make that first impression before they fill out the form. And I shared this
Okay.
graphic here. You know, your video, you always want to be, you know, authentic, but the types of, you know, emotions that make people click. And so you can see here, you can see this a lot on YouTube ads and Facebook. All is 25%. So it's, you know, higher than anything else. So if you can find a way that's relevant, but really kind of provides that shock and awe factor, it can go a long way into getting them to click and do whatever it is you want them to do on your landing page.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just some best practices for video creative. This annoys me, and I, you know, kind of looked at some surveys. It's pretty common, but people typically don't like when a video autoplays. So try to disable that if possible.
Okay.
And if for whatever reason you're just really adamant on having a video autoplay, make sure the sound is muted. That way, if they're at work and goofing off, or
Okay.
they're somewhere where they shouldn't be on their phone, then at least you're not making them embarrassed.
Okay.
And then
That is,
say that again.
I said that is the worst when you're
Right.
like supposed to be in a meeting and your phone plays. You're like, sorry.
Exactly. Other thing here, you know, target shorter videos. You know, people don't have forever to, you know, learn about your story and, you know, what you offer them. So I would say target shorter videos. Your sweet spot would probably be around 90 seconds. But
Okay.
again, this is something that you would want to test to kind of see what resonates the best with your audience. And then, you know, same old, make sure that your video is mobile friendly. So you can use different tools that we've gone over, that we reviewed. And also just, you know, look at your mobile phone and see how your landing page looks.
Okay.
So I wanted you to take a look at this video, kind of tell me what are some of your thoughts. But let me know if the sound isn't working again. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay, I'll just share it with you then.
Okay.
I'm not sure why I can't do that on this one. It's weird. It's about 2 minutes, so yeah, just take a look at something.
Autopilot is beautifully simple, multi-channel lead nurturing software. It helps you turn prospects into loyal customers faster. Today, marketing automation systems can make you feel like this. We created Autopilot to make you feel like this. Autopilot is focused on 3 things: allowing you to create multi-channel lead nurturing programs with a simple user interface, partnering with best-of-breed technologies you're already using, and giving you better insights into your prospects, leads, customers, and your marketing funnel. Rather than start with a blank canvas, Autopilot comes with hundreds of best practice marketing programs you can browse and start using with a simple click. This recipe creates a remarkable follow-up nurture program. Imagine every time someone signs up for your software or service, having beautifully clean data thanks to Insight View, assigning them to Salesforce with a follow-up task, and then sending them a postcard in the mail. Let's go ahead and capture the form from our website. All you need to do is enter the URL where the form lives and the URL when the form is complete. Autopilot finds the form fields and they can be mapped directly into the database. Let's set up the postcard next. The postcard will be sent in the mail and can be personalized using variables. It's incredibly easy to configure. On the back of the postcard, we'll upload a nice image. When we're done, we can preview the card and add the ingredient to our recipe. Setting a follow-up email is just as simple. You can create simple emails or beautiful HTML emails. Let's go ahead and upload a nice design. Autopilot allows you to edit the email and use personalization variables in not only the subject line, but also in the body of the email. Now the email is complete, let's add the email ingredient. Finally, we set up the lead assignment and then add a task that's in context. Adding additional ingredients is easy. In this example, I'm adding 2 extra email touches to the nurture program with timers in between. Using triggers, actions, and conditions, you can create hundreds of remarkable marketing programs that will help you turn prospects into loyal customers faster. That's a brief introduction to Autopilot. Sign up to try Autopilot for yourself and start creating remarkable marketing.
Autopilot sounds dope.
Yeah. Yeah, so what are some specific things that kind of stood out to you from that video?
Well, I'm always like one for them showing you how to do it instead of telling. So showing how easy it is. Like, I mean, he walked through and made it seem pretty damn easy to set everything up. You know, a couple clicks and you're done.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the same idea I got. And it's very simple to use. So kind of, if I had to guess the angle that they were going after, other solutions, they're more complex, they're not very easy. Hey, we're going to showcase the simplicity of Autopilot, but we'll also kind of show you how it's more simple, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
So I think that's a very good video, and that's kind of typical in kind of software and tech companies where they're kind of doing more of the demo style. But yeah, I would say kind of just think about what would be the pain point of the person who clicked that ad and try to illustrate that in a video.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. So moving on, headlines and sub-headlines. And this is a quote from David Ogilvy, AdWords ads guru, legendary, actually. And he basically says, on the average, 5 times as many people read the headline as read the body copy. And when you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents out of your dollar. So basically, what I get from that is your headline is really what's going to kind of push the needle forward, move the needle forward. Copy, the body text is important, but really you catch their attention with those headlines and sub-headlines.
Okay.
So just some ideas here, as far as, good practices for headlines and sub-headlines. You want to use a mix of relevant keywords. So keywords that you're actually bidding on with that specific ad group. But you also want to use power words. Again, these are words that evolve emotion. And I'm going to share a list of a PDF list of the different keywords that you can use to kind of evoke different emotions. But you kind of just want to find a balance there. You want to focus on clarity and get right to the point. So this is not a chance to be vague, but you definitely want to articulate as efficiently as possible what's the unique benefit of working with you versus other image and style consultants in a different area. Right. So do you know some of those unique kind of benefits?
That I'm cheaper.
Cheaper? Okay.
That's one of like the big ones. But also like it seems like the style consultants in my area, they go in and out of activity. So it seems like, at some points they're on and busy, and then other times they're not doing a whole lot. So I don't know. I mean, I think maybe that's something I could leverage. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say availability, definitely. Just from my experience, I would be careful with mentioning the affordability, because unfortunately, sometimes people think that means lower quality, which isn't always the case. Maybe you just found a more efficient way to deliver the service. So just be careful with that one. But that's good. Again, make sure the ads are relevant to the landing page, so they should align. So if you're promoting a free guide on fall fashion, then that should be the offer and call to action on your landing page to get that
Right.
email. So just make sure everything matches. And
Okay.
showcase empathy with the prospect's problem. And you never want to focus too much on you unless you actually were in that person's shoes. So let's say, for instance, you have someone, they're switching careers, they need that kind of like that refresh of their wardrobe. Maybe that's something that you've had to experience in your career, so you can kind of speak from personal experience. If you're not able to provide like that personal anecdote, try using an anecdote from one of your clients who matches that same persona. And that can be a great way to kind of show that empathy, that not only are you providing that service, but you understand what's it's like to be in their shoes.
Okay.
You want to consider different types of headlines. So, you have headlines where you get straight to the point. So usually this is going to be more kind of your tech companies that use these types of headlines, or B2B. You have headlines where you use numbers. So again, that's kind of more tech or finance focused. But if you can find a way to kind of use numbers. So for instance, I saw one earlier today where 55% of our customers, brought on more services from us in their second year. So kind of, if you can use stats to your advantage, that can be great.
Okay.
And then you also have the empathy headlines where you kind of, again, kind of help them not only realize the problem or, empathize with their problem, but, kind of help them see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
And then, something that I see kind of missed far too often is not only do you want a headline and sub-headlines on your landing page within the body, but you should also have a compelling headline for your submission form. So you've done a great job kind of working them through, the benefits or why they should work with you. But then now you have to get them to hand over their personal information, which, people more now than ever are afraid to hand over their email or their contact info. So you kind of have to figure out, okay, they've made it to this point in the page. What is like that last little nugget I can share with them, or that last little kind of snippet I can add that's going to kind of push them past that finish line?
Okay.
You kind of just want to pay special attention to that. So I have provided some examples of some actual ads and landing page headlines. I kind of want to get your opinion on whether they're good or bad.
Okay.
So the first here, let me know if you can't read this part on the right, but you can see the display ad that they're using on the left. And this is the landing page that they're sending people to. So tell me, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, that's hard for me to read on the right. Let's see,
Okay.
working.
Let's see.
Yeah, they're just super pixely.
Yeah, I guess the main part is the headline, but let me see.
Because I like the display ad.
Yeah, for sure. It's very, 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 very cool. I like how it kind of fits in with LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I guess the most important part here is the headline.
Like the quote, I can see Clever Zebra produced a 15% revenue boost for Rocket Lawyer. Like that's a big deal, right?
Right.
I can't read the other stuff, but.
Yeah, I'll just read it out. Clever Zebo generated incremental revenue for Rocket Lawyer by creating and optimizing a sophisticated email marketing program, which achieved excellent deliverability, a tall task for such a large email sender. A Facebook campaign giveaway attracted 1,500 followers in a week, and an affiliate marketing program refresh contributed to the company's growth. Okay.
So that piece I definitely would not lead with.
Okay.
It's just too technical and everything. Like,
sure.
I want that snippet. Clever Zebo produced 15% revenue boost for Rocket Lawyer. If I want to know how, then yeah, I'd click through to read that information, but I think that's more poignant than the little description.
Sure. Now, I'll give you my opinion. I actually hate this landing page and this headline, right? Because, well, first, the display ad is talking about LinkedIn ads. Right. And, you know, they have this featured on LinkedIn logo here at the top, but the headline doesn't really specify that they are able to help Rocket Lawyer with LinkedIn ads. It just says they gave them a 15% revenue boost.
Yeah.
How did they give them that? So I'm going to assume it's from LinkedIn ads, but then if we look at the snippet here, you know, they're talking about email marketing. So is it really with LinkedIn ads? So I would say no on this one. Obviously, that's kind of subjective, but it's really not as aligned as it could be with LinkedIn advertising.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. So really just looking at the headline. Tell me, is this a good headline? And if yes, why? If no, then why not?
I mean, I'm kind of with you. I like more of a data approach if you're going to do something like this. So take your audience from prospect to customers. I mean, that's compelling, yeah, but like it doesn't give me a whole lot.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like, it's very vague. Okay, what do you do again? So is it software? Is it like marketing service? And kind of something more subtle, this part at the top, let top rank marketing's approach to content marketing. It's almost not necessary, right? Because it's not really about top rank marketing, it's more about them. So they could probably left this part out and it would still had some good results. But I agree with you, and that's a good insight that maybe they could have incorporated some data here as well. Okay, cool. So good stuff. So kind of moving on to calls to action. So you have your headlines in order. Now you're looking at your calls to action. So you want to keep them short and sweet, but try to evoke some sense of scarcity or urgency. So for you, for White Shoes, maybe you could include something like limited slots available for consultations in August, something like that. Because you don't want them to have to, okay, well, I can easily come back to this next week or next month. You know, I'll take my time. You kind of want to give them a little bit of a push. You want to personalize to the prospect's unique pain point or demographic. So kind of going back to where you want to think about the headline that you're including on your form. You want to make sure that it's actually unique to the demographic that you're targeting with that landing page. You always want to use buttons instead of text, links, or images. Buttons have been shown to lead to more clicks. You want to use reverse psychology. And a great way to do this, and I'll show you an example here in the next slide, is using a simple yes or no question.
Okay.
And then the last point here, you want to use contrasting colors. So I would highly recommend that color psychology article where it kind of goes into more detail about this. But really the key takeaway here is that you want that call to action button to stand out on the page. And you want to use a combination of colors and white space to get it to stand out.
Okay.
So this is something from our friend Neil Patel. So you can see here, he uses a question at the very, I think he actually still has this on his site, but he uses like this, this headline, do you want more traffic? And it's pretty simple. Yes, I want more traffic, or no, I have enough traffic. So obviously,
these actually make me so mad sometimes.
Why is that?
Just because like they work. And so like if I'm on a site and it's like, do you want to sign up for 10% off? It's like, yes, I would love to save money. No, I like to spend more.
Right.
And I'm like, stop it. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sales at its finest, right? Like,
totally.
Like, it's no
Totally.
way I would say no to this. So, and yeah, if I
Right.
remember correctly, if you click the yes, I want more traffic, then it comes up with the pop up to sign up for his email list. But it's pretty simple. So it's like, let's say if you had like a page for daters, and you had maybe it's a page that was targeted to guys. You could have something like, do you want to attract more women? And yeah, if you're on that page, you click the ad, yes. The obvious answer is yes.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there are definitely ways you can kind of incorporate that into your own kind of ad strategy and landing page strategy. Okay, so that's one example of reverse psychology. The next one we have Arnold's book. And then this is actually from Amazon. So I would say anything like UX related, Amazon is a good live case study. But you can kind of see here the button stands out. It's not obnoxious, but your attention is definitely called to it. Okay. So writing great copy. And this is honestly could be its own course, but just some different bullet points here. I always want to lead with the benefits of that are there for your target persona. So, they work with you, they get to work with a professional. What are the benefits of that? And so kind of just, what I like to do is kind of just brainstorm those even before I start writing ad copy, because that's very important for your ad copy as well. You want to emphasize why you're the best solution for their issue. So, when you're looking at your competitors, why are you better than them?
Yeah.
I think you had an interesting one. You're more available, whereas, it sounds like some of your competition, maybe they only work at certain parts of the year.
Yeah.
You want to avoid the flowery language. So again, get straight to the point. They don't have time to read a book. You want to make the content scannable. So include bulleted lists, include number lists where possible. And this is something that you'll have to understand your audience, but be aware of the reading level. So there are different tools you can use. I use the Flesh Kincaid tool, but basically, from my research, kind of if you're targeting that 8th grade level, that's kind of like a good general benchmark.
Okay.
But let's say, for instance, if you were targeting a more technical or science oriented background type crowd, then you might be able to get away with a higher reading level. In fact, It might actually benefit you because they're used to reading at a certain complexity. So just kind of be mindful of that. You also want to leverage microcopy. And microcopy, that's a fancy word for like the little verbiage or language that's on certain parts of the landing page. So an example would be if you have a form and they forgot to, or they didn't want to fill out maybe their email or their phone number, you'll have an error message that says that the field is required. That's an example of microcopy. Include any types of guarantees. So, do you offer any guarantees with your service?
Yeah, I offer full money back.
Okay.
They don't like the process.
Okay. Yeah. So, that would definitely be something I would include on your landing page as microcopy, but also kind of include the details so that there's no confusion, moving forward. And then
so
any
mostly
other
like the page.
Say that one more time.
So is this like at the footer or below a form, or does it really matter where?
Yeah, so I would say for the guarantee, you probably will want that around the form, because that might be something, the nature of your service, I assume that you would contact them first with that free consultation before they buy anything. So that might not be as big of an issue, but let's say if they were purchasing directly from the landing page, then you would definitely want to include that guarantee around where they're putting in their purchase info.
Okay.
And then, yeah, any other language that would eliminate, any doubts that your prospects have. So outside of maybe, just their general satisfaction with the process, any other kind of doubts that come up when you're speaking with prospects or clients?
Any type of what?
Like issues that might prevent them from becoming a client?
Really, probably not.
Okay.
That I've seen. It's really just a lot are just comparing and contrasting, especially from Thumbtack, they'll meet with a couple fashion consultants, and so yeah, I wouldn't say really anything more than that.
Okay. Cool. Now, before we get into the next section, I actually had an activity for you. These are two headline analyzer tools that I use for my campaigns. Obviously, they're algorithm based, so there's kind of a fixed process here. But I kind of want to give you the scenario that you're creating a landing page for young men. Let's say they're millennials and they are looking to get more success on a dating scene, and they're looking to improve their fashion in attempts to do so. So what would be a headline that you would use on this page?
Something about improve your first impression 100% of the time.
Improve your first impression 100% of the time. Nice. Okay, so let's see how these judge your headline. Oh, of course they asked for this. Okay, so when that runs, we're going to do it over here as well. Okay. So nice, you got a 77, so that's decent. So this tool, it kind of tells you how you're using different power words and basically how you could possibly improve. So
cool.
Yeah, it's generic headline, 46 characters. So their basis is the shorter the better.
Okay.
But yeah, it kind of can help you. I think this particular tool would make more sense once you look at that PDF with the power words.
Right.
But yeah, you'll always try to include those power words where possible.
Okay.
I don't know if I still have that PDF up here. Yeah, let me just show you the. I'll show you the PDF. So these are just some different words that you can try to include, just to kind of get more of those emotions. But yeah, I would just say I'm going to leave this in the course resources. Just check it out when you start to build those ads. So this is the other tool. So basically, how it works, it kind of gives you an emotional value score. They call it EMV. I'm sorry, emotional marketing value. And so this, you have a 12.5%. So based on what this percentage is, it kind of tells you, what kind of appeal does it have? And depending on who you're targeting and what you're offering, you might want to have a certain type of appeal. But really the goal here is you want to be between 30 to 40% EMV. So typical practice in any copywriting course dedicated copywriting course. They'll go over this. Where anytime you're creating a those are going to be under for testing, or also something like this. Make sure you push out every possible. Yeah, so if we have a chance, I think they'll definitely back here. So testimonial structure is also proof. These are my favorite because I've seen personally how testimonial and dramatically improve your rates. So when you're doing testimonials, often clients will say like, hey, this person was great to work with, and the reason why or how you even got to that point. So I try to kind of steer clients towards different questions that's going to help build my narrative arc. And in a nutshell is, what was the problem that you have? Because of that problem, what are some reasons why it kept you up at night? What are some reasons, what are some things that it block you from accomplishing? So kind of going to the dating example, someone, they eventually want to get married and have a family. But in order to do that, you have to find that person and date that person and move on, to those latter stages. So that's kind of like the big why. And if I don't solve this problem, what are the consequences? So, what is the problem? Why is that problem important to solve? Why did they come to you to solve that problem? Why did they choose you? What was their criteria? And what was the process in Spencer helping that client solve that problem? And then what was the outcome? So they improved their wardrobe, and then they were pretty much getting 100% matches on Tinder. I don't know, whatever makes sense. But yeah, you always want to provide that outcome so that someone who's doubtful or maybe they're not familiar with your brand, they'll kind of give them that confidence to move forward. You want to make the testimonial relevant to the problem angle that the landing page is targeting. So, this might sound kind of obvious, but you never want to, cross promote the career switcher testimonial for the dating page. That just wouldn't make sense, right?
Okay. Do you recommend more text-based or video or what?
Great question. So I love video testimonials because it's just something about video. You can actually see that person as they're talking. You can see that emotion. And with text, you really don't get that unless that person is very colorful with their language, which most people won't be. So I would try to push them to video, and it might even make sense to provide some type of incentive. Like, I don't know what that would be for image consulting. Maybe you give them a free session the following year. I don't know. But yeah. Always try to push them to those video testimonials. But they are more difficult to get because most people aren't comfortable getting on camera.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I have a hard time getting people to leave reviews. I think just like anybody. However, the ones that do leave reviews, they're usually really good. It goes a lot more beyond like, hey, great experience. Like I get some that will write like paragraphs,
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
That's helpful.
And yeah, kind of the model has been keeping the landing page succinct and to the point, but that's one place where, the more detailed they are, the better. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So that's about testimonials. Trust badges. I would say try to, if you're not part of I'm not sure, are there kind of like industry associations, organizations for image consulting?
I think so. Like the badge I think of a lot is I keep getting Top Pro on Thumbtack. And so I'm wondering should I place that on my website somewhere?
Absolutely.
Or should I put it on the landing page? Or because not everybody's gonna know what that is. And so I'm like, is that one super relevant or?
Yeah, it says Top Pro, so you're a Top Pro. Someone thought enough of your service to label you as a Top Pro. So I would say definitely go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In addition to that, I will also look at, I know you said you currently work for J.Crew?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there are any issues with copyright, definitely include their logo
Okay.
on your landing page. I mean, most people would know or familiar with that brand, and really any other kind of memberships or associations that you're a part of that are relevant would be really good.
Okay.
I will also do like any type of press mentions. So, you know, your SEO, once it starts, you know, building momentum, maybe you have the opportunity to get featured on, you know, big publications. Definitely include those logos on your landing page. Kind of get more of that credibility factor going for you. And then this one, you know, you have to kind of think about how to do, but look at your Instagram followers. So, or your email list subscribers. So, you know, I think Neil Patel actually does this as well. Well, he'll say, well, join the, you know, millions of people on my email list for daily or weekly marketing tips. Well, you know, if I'm a person, I'm not familiar with Neil Patel, I don't know how that's possible at this point. He's pretty big, but if I'm not familiar with Neil Patel, but I mean, he has a million subscribers on his email list. He must know what he's talking about. You know, that's something that you can kind of throw in there to kind of add to that credibility factor. So if there's anything like that, like if you have a ton of Instagram followers, you know, maybe that'll be something you include here. Okay. And then where to place the testimonials. So this is something that I don't think gets enough attention, but I think it's very important. So you want to make sure that to include them in places that do not demote other important page elements, and particularly your headlines and your call to action. So my general formula is try to include a call to action somewhere, or not call to action, a testimonial, somewhere at the top of the page. This is for people, this is their first interaction with your brand, and that testimonial, and this would be a great place for those short testimonials. It'll be a great place to kind of, okay, somebody enjoyed working with Spencer. Okay, I'll continue to read further. And you really just kind of want to use that top testimonial to kind of just keep pushing them down the page. And then, you know, you want to have one right before the call to action. And this would be a good place for your long form testimonials. So you mentioned that there have been clients that have written paragraphs, you know, recommending or highlighting your services. So that would be a good place for that sort of testimonial. I will also, if you do have someone who's open to video, I would put that video testimonial right before that call to action to sign up for a free consultation.
Okay.
So yeah, any questions there?
Nope.
Okay. So finally, for the last section, kind of just want to go over heat maps and A/B testing. Are you familiar with heat maps?
Yep, I downloaded Hotjar for my site.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Nice.
It slowed it down quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the challenge with Hotjar. But of course, if you're building out dedicated landing pages, it really doesn't matter as much unless it's just really improved or makes the page slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I really like about that, I'm not sure you've gotten into it, the session playback. Have you played around with that feature at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I know they kind of updated their what's available for the light version and the premium version. But yeah, session playback is a great way to kind of look at how people are interacting with the page. Because you know, you built the page, or you guided someone on building it. You know exactly how someone should work with it. But it's always kind of interesting to see how, if you give that landing page to someone, either you hand them, you know, let them see it on their mobile phone or on a laptop or even with a heat map, how they choose to interact with it. So always great to get that feedback, and even for SEO as well. These are some different providers. I know Hotjar is pretty popular, but if you're, you know, maybe looking at doing something more on an enterprise level, So maybe something for alpha graphics. You may want to look at some of these other options that they do have more features.
Okay. Yeah, I've used Crazy Egg at my last company.
Yeah, what did you think about Crazy Egg?
I actually really liked Crazy Egg.
More so than Hotjar?
It's honestly been too long to compare the two. I haven't used Crazy Egg probably for 3 years.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of these tools, they're highly recommended. So it's kind of more so, which one you find the easiest to use, I find is
right.
the decision factor. And then finally, A/B testing. So at this point, I hope that you are familiar with it. But you just want to make sure that you're testing the right items. So think about, usually your A/B test is going to be at least for a week or 2 weeks. You want to make sure that you're testing something that's actually going to move the needle forward. So something like where I'm going to place my social media icons. I mean, that's not really important. But what may be important is what color will I make my call to action button, or how long do I make my form? How many fields do I include? That's more important, right? So you want to make sure you're testing the items that are going to really move the needle. You want to pay attention to the sample size. So of course you need enough data to actually make a sound decision. And most A/B testing tools, they will pretty much automate this for you, where they will find a sample size that with confidence, they can say that version A is better than version B. But again, you just want to make sure that this sample size is large enough to make that type of decision.
Okay.
You want to approach A/B testing with a scientific approach. So, for instance, if we're looking at the call to action button, you want to start it. Let's say your current call to action, it was green, and you want to kind of make the hypothesis that if I change my call to action button to orange, it will increase my conversion percentage or my conversion rate by X amount. Okay. And that will actually kind of give you a better structured framework on how to test. And once you complete the test, whether your hypothesis was right on or not. So definitely try to kind of think, if you make a change, this is the expected outcome. Something that even I have been guilty of is not letting the test run the full scheduled duration. So let's say if I schedule that this test should run for 2 weeks, but I see maybe by day 6 that it's obvious that one is going to outperform the other, still being patient and letting that full timeline elapse before making any decisions. And that's really important. Maybe you just got lucky, version A got lucky during the first 6 days, but it's not actually the best option. And then again, last point here, you only want to test one element at a time. So that's why it's so important to test the right element that's going to have the biggest impact, so that you can simplify your test and make sure that it's clear on what you're testing. Okay. And then for A/B testing, these are some, again, Crazy Egg is here, but these are some tools that are quite popular in the market. I can personally speak to Optimizely, very happy with it. But if you're using any type of landing page software like Unbound or Lead Pages, you can they're also built-in A/B testing tools with those as well. So, the key takeaway here, A/B testing, this is something you should always be doing, but pretty much every element of your ads campaign, from your keywords to your target audience, to your ad copy, to your landing page copy, Okay,
cool.
So that wraps up today's session. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, so I have just a side question about my Google Analytics.
Okay.
So I set up a GTM using my Google Analytics, right?
Okay.
And so when I did that, all of my website data stopped coming in. And I'm pretty sure it's because I moved it into the GTM tag manager, but I didn't upload the tag manager to my site, right? So it wasn't collecting any data.
Right.
And so we uploaded it to my site, but then for some reason, my SEO person was like, no, we had to create a second account for you. And so now they have Spencer Boyce 2 on my account. And I'm like, why couldn't you just do the original one?
When you said they created a second account, was it for Google Analytics or GTM?
Yeah, Google Analytics.
Huh, that is interesting. I don't know why they would have suggested that. Yeah, I don't know. Did they actually give you a reason, or they just found
Yeah,
it?
she was like, and again, it's language barrier, but she's like, actually, the week after I had put filters in, right?
Okay.
She's like, we noticed that traffic came to null. Not only the Indian user, but USA user was also not there. And then so it's like we removed those filters and tested the analytics, but unfortunately, even being live on website, they were not tracking. So they removed the analytics and integrated a new one.
Okay.
But I was like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, because then it takes away all of my old data.
Right, right. Yeah, and when you said they created a new account, did they create like with a new everything, or was it a new view?
No, it's the new everything.
Okay. So I guess, it's just maybe a different approach. I probably would have just created a different view, but it would all still been under the same property. But is the data tracking now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I don't understand it because I'm losing data from, 3 months ago.
Right. Yeah. Because typically, and maybe it's probably too late for this, but typically what you want to do is have pretty much 3 different views, right? You want to have like your raw view. So that means that's pretty much your raw data, no filters. From there, you want to have your master view where you have filters that that work correctly. That's going to be your master view. So that's really probably what you would be looking at on a regular basis. And then you want to have kind of what's called like an experimental view, to where maybe you're testing out different filters or something with the data, and that'll kind of be like your playground. So I think that probably, even now, I would probably make sure you have a master view so that you don't have that issue anymore if it comes up again. And then also have a raw view. That way, none of your historical data is lost.
Okay. And then my other question is, so they're porting my new site over today.
Okay.
So all the changes and everything, how does that affect the SEO process?
Sure. And sorry, when you say porting, do you mean like migrating the site?
Yeah, so they did like a whole new design,
Okay.
and so they're moving it in to replace my old one.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. And none of the pages or URLs would be different. They'll all be the same.
Well, so that's the thing. So I ended up going and buying, so I own spencerboyce.com, and then I purchased whiteshoeconsulting.com.
Okay.
And so that's probably what I need to change. And so I'm trying to should I change everything on the site from Spencer Boyce to White Shoe? And so if they just put in Spencer Boyce, it automatically just sends them to White Shoe.
Yeah, that would be best. Make sure that your redirects are set up. That's very important for SEO.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say kind of the high level, make sure that those redirects are set up. Once they're finished with porting the website, just run it, submit your top level, your root domain. So I guess now it'll be White Shoe Consulting.
Okay.
I would submit that for crawling by Google.
Okay.
That way, even if there are issues, you would know right away what those issues are.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would
Perfect.
probably do that within 24 hours after the website is ported over.
Okay. Sounds good. Will do. Okay. I think otherwise that was all I had.
All right. Great. So yeah.